Alrighty, let's get this started.
Okay.
True self is without form.
Alright, so far it looks like you have Muchachi Zen, Arisa Diva, and then Torb McCree. Okay, so you're basically the primary healer right now. That's the main thing you gotta notice here. Is like usually Zen will pocket DPS, right? And he's the off healer. He'll pocket people that are currently in duels, and he will not pocket the tanks as much. But in a Lucio Zen comp, you gotta pay a lot more attention to the tanks because you're the only way that you can make like a Lucio Ant plus a Zen Orb obviously is like actually a reasonable amount of heals for a tank, whereas just Lucio heals is kind of nothing almost. So basically you're the only person that can heal the tank at any sort of reasonable speed. So you're going to have to be focusing more on tanks than on DPS than you otherwise would, where if you were running like an Ana or a Mercy with it. You charged that a little earlier there, like they literally just walked out of spawn. Not a big deal though. Same with that one, but it's alright. To break shields, you usually want to left click instead of holding right click. And right here, you might want to be backed up a little bit further since you don't know what they have. Yeah, see, they got a Doomfist. He could have come up from the top there. Alright, so real quick, really good job discording this Rhine here. But they had a Doomfist, right, and a Genji, and you're all the way up here. If you were back here in this corner, or even better back here, around the corner there, you see a Doomfist that's coming off the bridge. Like he could have what is it? His E seismic slam. He could have done that all the way over to here if he had jumped off the bridge first, and he could have hit you with it and then killed you in one hit. If you were unlucky or if he was good. But if you're over in this doorway here, if you see him coming, all you do is go around the corner and you're good. Same with Genji, and then whatever anybody dives you, you just play the corner, run around the corner, run for the health pack, beg for healing, cry. It's either way. You were all the way up here. You should have been a little bit further back. It doesn't really matter, but just in general, you want to position like a sniper is Zen, not like a McCree. You want to be as far away and as hard to dive as possible, so you can do as much damage to the person that's trying to get on you before they get to you to make them back off. Anyways, really nice job discording this Rhine here as he was charging, because he charged from really far away. That was a big mistake by him, but nice job discording him. Other thing though is you might want to think about, you've had this orb here on the Orisa the entire time. You might want to think about, like, if the tanks are full HP, ideally you want to have it on a DPS or somebody with a small health pool, because obviously you'll have the least amount of time to react to somebody with low HP before they die. Whereas with an Orisa, she starts to get weak, you have a lot of time to put that orb on her before she's dead. And she's got fortified, she's got her shield, like she has lots of different ways to save herself. So you want to put it on somebody that will be in trouble if you don't notice fast enough, and keep it on them by default. The other healer, or whoever's up on the front line, like a DPS like Tracer or whoever has really small health pools. Smaller the health pool, the better, because the more value they get out of Zen's healing. So this orb should be somewhere else, but I mean it's not a horrible idea to have it on the Orisa. At least you have it out. But in general, keep it on lower HP pools if at all possible. Anyways, yeah, that was nice discord on the Rhine there.
What the?
Okay.
See right here, I don't like this. Here you should maybe be back over, yeah, over there. So when you went away from your team here, I'd say you just throw this orb on your McCree and you let him take care of it. That's not your problem. Your job is not to chase down flankers. I would say, like, you started pushing around over towards the back of the point there. God, I wish I had like something to draw with. But either way, so you went around towards the enemy's spawn side of the point. So if one of them were to push around that corner right there, you could very easily be caught out of position and die. because they're pushing through the choke right now. They are already through the choke. They can go left around the choke instead of straight into your team, and you would be right there. So instead of doing that, you if you wanted to go towards the point, which is fine, you want to go on the other side of the payload basically, so they can't see you. And this McCree's full HP. There's a Genji back here. You don't got time to chase him. Your team is in a fight back here. So throw the orb on him if you think that's necessary, and then you should be turning around and helping your team probably instead of chasing the Genji. But that was a nice kill on the Doomfist, and it's not like the worst decision ever. So just keep going here. You want to be wary of charging right clicks when Genjis don't have deflect, but he doesn't have it anymore, so that's fine. Yeah, here you should definitely let him go. You're never going to catch him. You know, you don't have movement abilities. He's a Genji. But you do have to be wary that he's behind you now, so just want to think about that. Okay, push him forward here is the wrong call, I think. Yeah, there you go. Back up a little bit more. Probably sit back in this corner on the left here. You should be asking for healing when your Lucio is around and you're getting weak like that. You're getting a little bit too aggressive here, I think. Yeah, this is better. Backing up off the point here. I think you should be back in the corner, trying to build your trance, and then making sure you don't die. So see, right here, your Torb turret is right over here. This is a great spot. You've got cover from things, like so the Doomfist can't get on you that easy, the Genji can't get on you that easy. And if you do start taking damage, you have a little health pack, and then say the Genji or the Doomfist does dive you, you can just stall, run around, and have the turret shoot him, and it'll help you. It'll peel for you. So this is a good spot. You should stay either in here or in the back left by the other mini or something. You're getting really aggressive in other people's faces, and like right here, I don't like this. This isn't. See, you're taking a lot of damage here. Genji dashes you right now, you're dead. So if you were back by that turret, you could hide behind that wall. You could go get that mini, you'd be fine. And you wouldn't be close enough to the enemy to get you. Literally, Genji dashes, you're 54 HP. Genji does 50 damage with a dash. A dash and a melee, you're dead. Or he right-click dashes and he hits the right-click, you're dead. You almost have trance here, you really can't afford to die. So the enemy team has, what do they have? Zarya, Rein, Doom, Genji. I can't remember. But okay, so they're getting close to ults here. You've had two fights, right? So they probably have Earth Shatter. There's Zarya, this really high charge Zarya over here. It's been two fights. She's been really high charge. She might have grab. So you need to be staying alive here. So now that you're dead, see they ult. They ulted the Doom here. They probably don't need anything else, so they're gonna win this fight. It's possible that that your team comes back, but it's not looking likely. So you lost. You got tanks. They got the turret, and this might be winnable. Okay, so now you just lost both your DPS. You have two tanks, your Lucio, and you're almost back. If you can save everyone, maybe, but they still have ults. The Zarya, million charge Zarya, she's still up there. They've still got a bunch of DPS and Genji Blade. This, right? So I was going to say, you might want to wait. You might want to wait for them to use something. Because like right here, nobody was weak yet, really. So like if they had used an ult here, maybe, but now they just get to grab for free. So right there, you wanted to wait. And if your team died, you know? Because like you ult that early, and what happens here is you lose the fight and you lost your ult, as opposed to you lost the fight and you still have trance. But I mean, sometimes you don't want to be too stingy with trance. That's definitely true. But like right there, you knew they were sitting on a giant pile of ults because they hadn't ulted the entire game, basically. So you wanted to make sure that you get some value out of it, or at least save a couple lives, and really you get a team fight win out of it at the very least. Like it doesn't have to be in counter of an ult, but you should win a fight, or at least get 1 or 2 kills on like a tank or something. So right there, I don't like the charging of the right click against the Genji with the deflect. This Rein's looking for a shatter. Okay. died though. That was a nice discord on him. Stopped him from getting the shatter off. So now that Zarya team shield is down, you want to focus the Orisa, or not the Orisa, sorry. You wanted to focus the Brig. Just in general, when you see the one of the, either the self shield or the team shield go down, you should put the discord on, you know, either a teammate or the Zarya herself, depending. This is a decent spot. This is fine. Right here, you're strafing back and forth instead of left to right. So that's making that really, your strafe didn't help you from not taking any damage there. Also, your right clicks. You do a lot of right clicking. And when you right click, a lot of the time you'll take your mouse, you're aiming, and then like right before you fire, you'll like flick. So you'll shoot like two of the volley over here, one in the middle, and then two over here. It's like the whole point of the right click is to have a lot of damage in one spot, basically. So like unless you're tracking a target, if you are, you want to have it be nice and smooth, none of this like flick in the middle of firing it. If you're not tracking a specific target, point it at a corner or a choke or something that angles past multiple corners and then just fire it in one spot. That's the best way to do it in general if you're not tracking a specific target. If you're tracking a specific target behind a Rhine shield or the Rhine himself or whatever, that's fine. Just aim it right at him. But in general, you're not shooting right clicks at Rhine shields anyways because it takes longer to break it. So you want to fire these at corners and definitely be wary of the enemy Genji's deflect. You don't want to just be charging right clicks when he has deflect. If you hear it go down, fine. But you want to be very careful of that. I would have kept that on your no, yeah, that's good. Yeah, your Lucia had ult. I probably would have kept on Lucia for a little bit longer though. He was still weak. I don't think I'd be taking this fight. Lucio came to help you, that's good. But in general, I don't think I would have taken that. This is a nice angle here as long as you don't get too aggressive. If you go too far forward, this could be a problem. So your team just used a whole lot of ultimates here. Yeah, you need to back up a little bit. If they turn, you might die. Yeah.
Go.
So you just used both support ults for that fight. I don't really like that. Like you already had it won. You see how there was 3 people left, and you have 1, 2, 3 yourself and Lucia. No, Lucia and who died? Did Orisa die? Yeah. So either way, you outnumbered them, is what I'm saying here. You didn't need that ult to win that fight. You had already sound barriered. You were gonna win. Period. Even if you died, your team was gonna win that fight. No chance you lost. So I think it was the correct move to die there. Since you overextended a little, just die. That's fine. But I think I would have stayed in the mega room down there and just shot them in the back. If they turn, just run. Or even not peeked and gone up top here. Because I wouldn't have gone back for the McCree at all. I probably would have just been like, you know, man, you done goofed. You're on your own. And I would have let him die probably. And then if your Lucio went to go and chase him, which he did, then I probably would have gone with him because he could have speed boosted you over. But I wouldn't have gone alone, is my point. But so I don't really like that trance. It wasn't the worst trance,
Come back.
but like you'd already used your support ults. So now like they're gonna have some ults and you don't have anything to counter it is the problem. So you guys are gonna have to get aggressive here and make sure that you get some kills or some picks before they ult. Nice. See, that was really nice. That was nice. Okay, so you did another flick there, like right as you fired. So I just talked about that a while ago, but that's not good. Because like you have the recovery, like right there from shooting until you can actually do stuff again. It takes a little while. Like whereas with the left click, it doesn't matter. Like you can continue to fire, but you're like locked in an animation for just like half a second, I think, after you release your right click, and it's not good. Like if you're trying to fire right clicks while turning, it's just not a good idea. See this? Yeah, see that was a bad grab. But see if they were good, they have a tracer, right? They wait 30 seconds, she builds bomb, they get a grab that doesn't stick to the shield and get just the Orisa, you guys all lose. Because you don't have a trance, you don't have a sound barrier, you don't have anything to stop the grab from killing you. See, that's the Zarya being bad. Okay, but your team basically, after that grab went down, you guys basically already won this fight here. So a little bit too much right-clicking going on. I'd like to see a little bit more left-click, and also a little bit more pressing tab and tracking the enemy's ultimates. So like holding tab in your downtime, holding right-click right here is like, it's fine, but like the fight, you just won it, you know? Like who's going to be coming out of there? They should be regrouping at least. There's nothing wrong with shooting right clicks here, but you should also be like taking in the team comp, looking at what ults your team has, looking at what ults the enemy team has, and thinking about what are they going to be using next fight, and what do we need to use to counter it? What do I need to do to counter it? Where do I need to stand? Do they have Shatter? Do they have Grav? What do they have? So they used Grav last fight, right? Their other tank is a Reinhardt. So you got to be looking out for Shatter, right? Fuck. Or no, they have an Orisa. Thought they had a run. Oh yeah, they swapped to Orisa. Okay, so you gotta be looking out for... What, Ana's ult? Okay, they probably... Yeah, they're screwing up bad. They're getting picked and not going in. I thought I heard that Reaper above you. So yeah, if that Reaper got you too weak, I probably would have just tranced there. But since you did some good job getting damage on him. I don't know about pushing into that. I probably would have backed up a little bit instead of getting so aggressive there during their trance. Like, I know you were probably planning on trancing, but say that Doomfist punched you into the cart, you would have died instantly without a chance to trance, and they could have killed everyone. So I would have been back a little bit further here, and I would have tried to wait for somebody on your team, like a tank, to go critical at least before you trance. Basically, if you trance second, you win. But yeah, I probably would have tranced. Like if I was gonna push up like that, up in their face, I wouldn't take the risk of getting punched into the cart by the Doomfist, and I probably would have just tranced right away. But your team won that pretty handily regardless. Your team seems way better, way more coordinated than their team. I can't see you losing this game, but I mean, hey, it could happen. Overall, I think your heal priority was pretty good. Your ult timing was not the best. And I think you could think a little bit more about ult tracking for the enemies and where you should be standing because of their ults, and what you should be doing when you should be saving your ultimate in response to the enemy's ults. Because I can tell that's not something you're thinking a lot about, or you're not used to thinking about as Zenyatta. I don't know what you play that much, to be honest. But yeah, let's see what this kid is. Private profile. Oof. Blessing. The blessing upon humanity. Private profiles. I love them. You love them. We all love them. But yeah, you did pretty good for as far as heal priority, and you did a good job getting damage off. Your aim is great. You just got to pick some better places to stand, preferably near health packs. Position yourself like a sniper, and think a little bit more about when you should be using your ult, and don't get quite so aggressive. Because like when you're that aggressive, you're Zen. You don't have any movement abilities. You know, you can't run away. The only way that you can really escape is if your Lucio saves your pathetic existence and speed boosts you out of there, or your Zarya shields you or something. Like if you mess up, you have nothing to save you.
Okay.
So you can't be positioning yourself like you're a Tracer or a Reaper. Like you don't have an escape ability.
Damn, they have a Bastion, right?
So since they have a Bastion, I'd probably just sit here and spam the Rhine Shield and try and break it. Keeping the Discord on the Bastion is also fine, but I'd probably just be breaking the Rhine Shield right now, and right click's not too good for that in general. So I'd sit right here and just hold left click, make sure you don't die, Break the Ryan shield, discord the Bastion, and then just pressure the shit out of him until your Ryan gets back. Not a whole lot you can do until your Ryan gets back, so I'd try to get the discord on someone, because right now it's not on anyone. There you go. And preferably the Bastion, and then just break the Ryan shield and force them to break. Your Zarya is really high charge right now, so if she starts going in, you definitely want to make sure that she does not die. Okay, so I see why you did this, but I think when you saw your Ryan go in, which was right here, so you see your Ryan's pushing up on the right side here, you're dropping back, which is fine, but right there he charges. He's already at critical. There is no way that he should survive this charge. Period. Like, he should be dead no matter what. Like, even if you press Q right now, he's dead. Or he should be. Because he shouldn't even make it to the end of the wall before you kill him. You remember the enemy Ryan charge from about the same place at the beginning of the last round? What's that timestamp? 10:57? Right back here, their Ryan does the same thing. He doesn't even make it to the wall before he dies. And you don't have a Bastion. You know, he does the same thing from the choke. He's all the way back there. And he dies before he hits the wall. So, in general, you can count on that happening. If you're going for a really, really, really long charge, you're fucked. So this trance, like, you really, 99 times out of 100, you can't count on that Ryan being alive at the end of that charge. So I think that was a bad trance, but you seem to get there in time, because I don't know why nobody killed him, but they really, literally all they do, they look at him, he's dead. So I think that wasn't that good, since you already lost your Lucio, but since you actually made it to him, this could work out. Now that you made it, I think it paid off. But just in general, that's not the best strategy, I don't think. So that was huge. So when you're got people in a grav, I wouldn't be charging this right click here. This is just a left click kind of moment. You really seem to like your right click quite a lot. It's great. I like right click too, but you know, she's not moving, she's not going anywhere. You know, she's not peeking a corner or anything, just drill it. Yeah, I don't know. I think you should have stayed further back here. So right here, your job isn't to kill everyone in the grav. It's not to contest the point. So if I was gonna hit people in the grav, I would just stand over here, like up against the wall and shoot the grav, maybe. But I might not even do that. Like, I definitely wouldn't, like, you're not a Reaper, you know? Your job isn't to contest point. You shouldn't be up here. This guy, you're dead, basically. That's fine, though, since your team's going to win anyways. But these shouldn't have been up there, probably. That's okay. Your team won pretty handily, and that trance was helpful. Even though it was really, really, really risky. And you did a good job not getting too aggressive off the rip here and waiting for some space to be made before you went in. So that was good. Okay, so you can hear some people to your right. I back up just a little bit here. Make sure that you're keeping an orb on someone. Nice. I would have charged that all the way because he wasn't shielded. So I would have charged it all the way, and then after you charge it all the way, you can discord him from that far away before your orbs even all hit him, and he'll take almost his entire HP and damage. Didn't matter, he died anyways. But I would not be pushing up here alone. Like, I know you got the pick on the Passion, which is huge, but up here, you're alone. Like, if these guys both turn towards you, you're very dead. Your team's it's working out, but like in general, you don't want to be pushing up and flanking. Like, and if you do flank his Zen, which is fine, it's totally fine to flank his Zen. You want to be very far away because he doesn't have a damage drop off. You want to be pretty far away or find an isolated target and just kill the shit out of them before they even notice you, basically. That's
Nice.
all right. So yeah, your team just stomped the shit out of him there. I think it would be good if you could get me a game where you're having a real close game, or you barely win, or you barely lose, or you don't know why you won, or you don't know why you lost, or something like that. Like, this is fine. You know, there were definitely some things to correct here. I just think that there would be a lot more to correct if it were a game where you struggled, or where you barely won, or even lost. I think that might be a little better. But so I think the main things to take away here: um, press tab more, looking at the enemy team in downtime between fights. Think about the enemy ultimates, and then think about where you should be standing because of that. And then make sure that you're positioned further back in general as Zen, always near a health pack or a friendly healer, one of the two. And I think those are the main two things. Those are the main two things. You did great damage as Zen. You were doing great damage, and you had pretty decent healing. Trance needs some work, but other than that, you're pretty decent though. I think there's potential for improvement here. If you're standing in the right spot, I could definitely see you climbing a good bit. All right, well, 13 minutes, huh? All right, I think that's about it. Oh, if you want to get me another game, just let me know, and I'll make another one of these.